Welcome to New Sky TV. Shocking. Short drama queen enters prime time on satellite TV, but only a third of the screen is displayed. Guo Yuxin's flash marriage rose drives TV viewers crazy. Can you imagine? Every night at 9 p.m., countless families gather around their TVs, turn on Dragon TV, and are greeted with a screen the size of a mobile phone screen, surrounded by black borders. This isn't a broken TV or a signal problem, it's the most surreal reality of 2026, the vertical screen short drama Northeast love story, Flash Marriage Rose, starring Guo Yuxin, the queen of short dramas, has brazenly landed on prime time on a mainstream satellite TV channel. This world has truly gone mad. Vertical screen short dramas, once ridiculed as tacky and low class, have now triumphed over traditional television media. Starting February 18th, this phenomenal work, which garnered 1 billion views online, with its arrogant 8.7 rating on Douban, forcefully squeezed into Dragon TV's quality Oriental microdrama theater. This is the first vertical screen short drama to be broadcast on a national satellite TV channel in China, a small step in history, but a giant leap that has blown the eyes of countless television viewers. However, when the biting wind of Northeast China blew into the living room through Guo Yuxin's expressive eyes, viewers were collectively plunged into a bizarre viewing experience. To adapt to the horizontal screen format, the TV station came up with a laughable compromise, adding black bars on the left and right, along with dynamic subtitles. The result? What was a perfect image on a mobile phone was compressed into a pitifully small strip on the large TV screen, with the actual viewable area less than 40% of the screen. Netizens were completely outraged. I spent 10,000 yuan on a 75-inch TV, and this is what you show me. This isn't watching TV, it's like using your phone on the TV. The screen is already small, and the subtitles are jumping around in the black border, making my eyes dizzy and almost making me throw up. One particularly irritable guy even went so far as to say, "Is the TV station out of staff? Are they trying to fool us with this? We suggest the manufacturer quickly produce TVs that can rotate vertically, otherwise this show is unwatchable." But if you think this is just a technical compatibility mishap, you're sorely mistaken. Behind this war of words about the black border lies a bombshell capable of shattering the rules of the traditional film and television industry. Don't rush to change the channel, because once you're hooked, Guo Yuxin, this rose with thorns, will drag you into the vibrant, down-to-earth atmosphere of a small northeastern town in the 1990s. Her portrayal of Yang Chunrong, the runaway factory worker, with her inherent stubbornness and resilience, is simply captivating. When she drank heavily to protect her husband and confronted thugs in the drama, her tearful yet resolute eyes seemed to question every viewer. Why can't short dramas have acting skills? Why is vertical screen considered inferior? And then there's Liu Haoguang, dressed in a leather jacket and gold chain, seemingly a roguish video arcade owner, but actually harboring tenderness for his younger brother and clumsy yet deep affection for his wife. His choked voice as he knelt before his father to borrow money, his tragic sacrifice for his brother against a bully, accompanied by the poignant soundtrack of Auld Lang Syne. At that moment, who dare say this is just low-grade fast food? This is clearly a blood-soaked romance laced with poison. Even more chilling is that behind this black border controversy lies a bloody industry reshuffle. Data shows that the microdrama market will exceed 100 billion yuan in 2025, with nearly 700 million users. Faced with this behemoth, the once lofty television stations finally bowed their heads, forced to rely on introducing vertical screen short dramas to retain their lost young audience. This was a blatant content counterattack. Online traffic finally rode on the neck of traditional channels. Even if only a third of the screen remained, even if they were relentlessly criticized, satellite TV stations had to grit their teeth and continue broadcasting. Some called it innovation, others called it compromise. But regardless, when Guo Yuxin's delicate yet resilient face was squeezed into the black frame in the center of the television screen, we saw not only the broadcast of a drama, but also the tearful moment of an era. The once mighty traditional media was being cornered by the wave of short videos, forced to swallow this thorny flash marriage rose. 89 episodes of a brutally tragic Northeast romance. Behind Guo Yuxin's black-bordered rose lies a blood-and-tears truth about layoffs in the 1990s. You think the black borders on the left and right are all the highlights of this drama? Too naive. What truly captivated countless viewers, keeping them glued to the third of the screen without changing the channel, was the 89-episode epic of Northeast China, a story forged with Guo Yuxin's own blood and sweat. Tune into Dragon TV's Quality East Microdrama Theater every Monday to Friday at 9 p.m., and you'll find this time slot has become a tearjerker time bomb for millions of households across the country. Why? Because when you follow this beautiful and sassy woman into a small town in northeast China in the 1990s, what you see is not a melodramatic romance, but a blood-soaked elegy for a generation, built with their youthful passion. Guo Yuxin's portrayal of Yang Chunrong, a woman destined for greatness from the moment she ran away from her arranged marriage, is embodied in the word stubbornness. When she single-handedly storms into the county tyrant's lair with a bottle of liquor for her roguish contract husband Lu Bing, her tearful yet sharp eyes hold the breath of every viewer. At that moment, the black bars on the left and right become windows into history. What we see is not just acting, but a microcosm of countless Northeast women struggling desperately against the tides of fate in that era. Liu Haoguan, the thug in a leather jacket and gold chain, exposes the raw passion and tenderness of Northeastern men in the 1990s. On the surface, he's a carefree video arcade owner, but behind the scenes, he carries the burden of his entire family. When he kneels on the ruins of a collapsed factory, begging his father for money to treat his wife's illness, when he carries the feverish Yang Chunrong through a blizzard, those who mocked the short drama's lack of acting skills are utterly slapped in the face. What's even more chilling is that this 89-episode period drama, heavily invested in by Hangzhou short drama and Xingning culture, isn't some sweet marriage of convenience trope. It uses the blood and tears of Yang Chunrong and Lu Bing, this couple of interests, to tear open the most painful scar of the 1990s Northeastern layoffs. Those workers abandoned by the times, those street vendors struggling to survive, those ordinary people gritting their teeth to live under the oppression of county bullies. Every character is like a ghost crawling out of the ruins of history, grabbing the audience's collar and forcing you to see clearly that era that should not be forgotten. Short drama airing onto this topic exploded in views, staying on the trending list for 3 days and 3 nights. You think everyone was discussing technology? Wrong. Everyone was arguing, why can't short dramas touch on serious history? Why can't vertical screens bear the weight of an era? Guo Yuxin silenced all the doubters with her talent. Her line, "I refuse to accept my fate," uttered in Northeastern dialect, became a classic line that went viral online. Viewers cried out, "This is the real Northeastern woman, cool and wild, yet soft as a freshly steamed sticky rice dumpling at heart." Even more terrifying is that the show's pre-release hype was not just marketing hype. The wrap-up photos immediately soared into the top 5 of the entertainment news charts, all thanks to candid shots taken by passers-by showing Guo Yuxin repeatedly falling and getting up in the sub-zero temperatures of northeast China for a single shot, her knees bloodied and bruised, yet still shouting one more take. This ruthless dedication to her craft puts those traffic stars who rely on green screens and body doubles to the bone to utterly disillusionment. Now, the second season is secretly in preparation. Reportedly, the plot will be even darker and more heart-wrenching. The relationship that Yang Chunrong and Lu Bing have painstakingly built will face even more brutal tests: factory restructuring, going into business, brothers turning against each other, couples growing apart. This isn't just a romance drama, it's a chronicle of Northeast China's past, written in 89 episodes. Every night at 9 p.m., when the signal from Dragon TV reaches millions of households, when that vertical screen surrounded by black borders lights up, countless people sit in front of their televisions, tissue boxes in hand. They're not waiting for a sweet romance, but for a generation's youth, a sacrifice built with blood and tears. Guo Yuxin, this flash marriage rose blooming on the black soil, has every petal stained with the blood of the times, and every fragrance carries the lament of fate. Thank you for watching the video. See you in the next video. Thank you.